When I worked as a barista in a small local coffee shop, my coworkers and I somehow discovered that all of us remembered a show being heavily marketed from the 2000s called Kye XY, and that all any of us could remember about it was that the main character didn't have a belly button, and no one knows why. None of us had seen it or knew even one other thing about the show, with the exception of my friend Stacy, who said, "Didn't he hatch from an egg?" He didn't. I ended up hosting a Kye XY themed game night at my house. I had balloons in the color of Kyle's belly flesh. I put up decorations, which were just some unanswered questions that all of us had, like, where is his belly button? Where did he come from? Hatched from an egg? And I provided some glazed donut holes representative of Kyle's missing belly button. Don't think too much about it, it's fine. This was around 2016, 2017. So now, almost 10 years later, I thought, why not commit to the bit? Why not watch Kye XY for the meme and then make a video about it? Well, my friends, how foolish I was to assume I wouldn't become attached to this stupid fucking show. I thought, it's ABC Family from 2007. Of course it's gonna be a gold mine of so bad it's good. And yeah, okay, yeah, it is. But shut up, you stupid jerks. Kye XY commits practically every sin possible for an ABC CW style TV show. But it has this mysterious magnetism that grows stronger with each passing episode. I've grown to love this show in the way that you might love a sibling, in the way that you might love a confusing pseudo-sibling who is the only other of your kind, for whom you eventually shoehorn in some romantic feelings. It's clear that the network reserved a hefty budget for marketing the release of this pilot. The commercials were unavoidable, and they could not stress enough the fact that Kyle does not have a belly button. I found some people talking about this on Reddit threads too. This person says, "It was wild how much of a point it was to let you know he didn't have a belly button. It's the only thing I know about this show." Another user wrote, "We'll never forget the commercials when they point out and say in a totally serious voice, 'No belly button.'"
One more thing you should see. No belly button.
Reportedly, they also did a marketing stunt in 2006 where they wrote "Who is Kye XY" in skywriting in Manhattan. The pilot for Kye XY officially aired on June 26, 2006 to an impressive viewership. According to Wikipedia, ABC's president said that it was the highest rated show at the time, although I was unable to confirm that. But I would believe it. I mean, this was a time of strong viewership for shows like Lost and Heroes. This fits right in. A commercial plane crash lands on an island, stranding its surviving passengers, but something about the island is mysterious and sinister. A collection of seemingly unassociated normal humans discover they have incredible powers and must save the world from impending doom. Teenage boy has no belly button. This show reeks of 2006 in the best way. Every once in a while, someone will drop like a super dated reference, and it just feels like a warm blanket of, it feels like a warm snuggie of nostalgia.
Hillary Duff called. She wants her shirt back.
Oprah reruns.
It already has over 500 hits. At this rate, I'll be YouTubed by dinner. Think about it. Paris, Nicole, the lonely 15 chickie.
Caught the Ebola virus or something.
Okay, wait, backtracking a little bit, and speaking of snuggies, while I was binging Kye XY, my husband Jeremy was binging the Alien franchise, and there's this moment in the show Alien Earth where this guy is like referencing snuggies as an example of a bad invention.
Should add the difference between $1 trillion business and a blanket with sleeves.
A what?
An invention that no one wanted.
Like, whoa, hold on now. Wait a damn minute. Why is my boy Snuggie catching strays on alien fucking Earth? Another nostalgic thing about this show is the identifiable furniture around the house. It's like these little glimpses of things that I didn't even know I was nostalgic about from the time. There were 3 seasons of Kye XY before it was canceled due to a drop in ratings. A drop that most attribute to the release of Secret Life of the American Teenager. Secret Life. There is no beef quite like the beef that one has with the show that prevails while the show that they loved got canceled. I'm looking at you, Elsbeth. Rest in peace, so help me Todd. I think the best way to start explaining the world of Kye XY is to just start laying out the many characters, organizations, and relationships that exist in the world. And to that end, I have procured from the thrift store a corkboard. It didn't come with all this stuff on it. That would be an insane pull. As you can see, this was lovingly painted by some 9-year-old probably. We're gonna repurpose my hand pointer from the Crystal Maze video. This is Kyle. You already know that, but here's something you may not know. He doesn't have a belly button. We meet Kyle when he gains consciousness naked in a forest. He remembers nothing, doesn't speak. He's sent to a juvenile detention center because, you know, indecent exposure or whatever. And no one knows what to do with him, so they pass him off to a therapist named Nicole Trager, matriarch of the Trager family. More on her in a minute. Once Kyle does learn to speak, his personality is marked by compassion, deep altruism, and a desire to be normal and have a normal family. The Tragers eventually start using the mantra, "What would Kyle do?" in order to make good choices, and I just think that's the most wholesome thing ever. He sleeps in an empty bathtub. That's his preference. He has no belly button. He does have special powers, which I will list now. Big jumps, control electricity, fight good, play basketball, do math and science, read fast, manipulate water, /telekinesis, /levitation, super hearing, revisit memories and explore those memory environments, enter the mind of Jessi, more on her later, night vision, freeze power, healing himself, healing others, and I might be forgetting some stuff, but I think it's safe to say that he's overpowered. Oh, and he also has like future sense.
I feel like something bad is about to happen.
It's kind of like the prescience that Paul Atreides has when he starts consuming spice. My bad. I'm reading the Dune books right now and it's consuming all my thoughts. That probably won't be the last reference. Now, since he doesn't have a belly button, you might follow the obvious line of thinking. A belly button is there because of our umbilical cord and our connection to our mothers. So if he doesn't have a belly button, that must mean he didn't have an umbilical cord. So maybe he was grown artificially, like in a pod or something. And that's exactly what they want you to think. Because it's correct. Because you're right. That is exactly what happened. Surprise! Kyle's lack of a belly button can be explained by the simplest and fastest line of thinking. He was grown in a pod, not technically an egg, Stacy, using the DNA of the scientist who made him. Kyle's found family is the Tragers. Mom, dad, sister, brother. I mentioned Nicole Trager before. She's the one who takes Kyle in and does that blindside thing of being like, "You are extraordinary."
I wanted to show her where I'd come from and what I'd seen.
She feels a responsibility to take care of Kyle, and she kind of has to get the rest of the family on board initially. Stephen Trager is the husband. He can be kind and funny, but he also has that suburban dad thing of like, he can have a temper and an ego, and the biggest sin anyone could commit against him is making him feel disrespected.
I trusted you, Josh. Damn it!
I feel for you, Mark, because if you're standing on my doorstep at this moment, I'm about to ask permission to date my daughter, then you quite possibly have the worst timing in the history of the universe. So I'm just going to cut right to the chase, and I'm going to say no, 100%, absolutely not, over my dead body, no. Got it?
I'm just good. I don't want
Lori Trager is the older sister of the family. She is sassy, independent, and focused mostly on her social life.
I know you have a date. Date? Mom. So 80s.
Josh Trager is the younger brother. He's kind of smarmy. He likes corn and an online multiplayer first-person shooter game called G-Force. He is initially consumed with the theory that Kyle is an alien.
This guy's an alien. I'm calling Steven Spielberg.
Even though Kyle is initially kind of a burden on the family, they grow to love him like one of their own. This island over here is Tom Foss. Tom Foss is, and please forgive me, actor Nicholas Lea, the least necessary character in the entire show. He adds an element of mystery in the beginning because he's seen lurking around the Trager's house. He becomes the Trager's security guard, but then you also know he's working for the bad guys. And then later on you find out he's actually a good guy trying to protect Kyle, a la Snape. And then Kyle finds a message that says, "Don't trust Foss." But then later the person who wrote this note is like, it was just a hunch, I was wrong. So yeah, I don't know what to tell you about Tom Foss. I feel like I'm a landlord showing you your new apartment. And I'm like, over here we have an exposed pipe. And it's gonna make weird noises all hours of the day and night. We don't know why, and there's no way to fix it, so you're gonna have to learn to live with it. Welcome to your new apartment. Adam Baylin is the scientist who created Kyle. We learn that long before the events of the show, there was a team of scientists that believed the longer the gestation period for a baby, the higher the capacity for learning that baby would have. They tried forcing the longer gestation period onto a bunch of like actual mothers. They all ended up passing away, and the only baby that survived the experiment is Adam Baylin. He wanted to continue the project in an ethical way, so he created a pod for artificial gestation. My arm is getting so tired already. For a short period of time, Kyle lives with Adam, and Adam teaches Kyle how to use some of his powers, including telekinesis, resulting in this moment.
Once you teach your mind to alter the positive and negative polarity of the cells in your body, the glass will move, not the glass. The water inside it.
Oh, and since Adam used his DNA to create Kyle, the show keeps trying to gaslight us into thinking these two people look alike. No, they don't. Brian Taylor is Adam Baylin's cohort. I also call him Discount Timothy Oliphant. I don't really understand his job. He's kind of just around. Later on, it's revealed that he's a bad guy, and I mean, I don't know, I thought that was obvious. Just look at him. Average mischief enjoyer. Jessi is another pod-born clone like Kyle. She was created using the DNA of Sarah, who Jessi considers to be her mother. More on her in a second. The writers said that they wanted to explore the idea of like nature versus nurture. So with Kyle, he's kind of introduced to the world and been shown mostly kindness. Jessi enters the world and is shown mostly cruelty. It's so mean, actually. It feels bad. She gains consciousness naked and confused like Kyle did, but she immediately runs into this hunter guy who tries to assault her. Having just been born, she does what any frightened animal would do and kills the guy. Almost every person who interacts with her after this point is trying to use her for some ulterior motive. This is sort of a hot take in the Kye XY fandom, but I think that Jessi is kind of insufferable. She's supposed to be tortured and angsty because of her negative experiences, but that translates into her being super clingy, needy, jealous, negative, and competitive. She has feelings for Kyle and is constantly antagonizing Kyle's girlfriend because of it. She's reckless with her powers and is always crying about how everyone abandons her. I know I sound heartless, and honestly, I probably am being a little heartless, but come on, Jessi, you gotta get a hobby, girlfriend. Amanda Bloom is the Traeger's next door neighbor and eventually Kyle's girlfriend. She's a talented piano player, a regular Philip Glass. Wait. Philip Glass. Fill up glass.
The water inside it.
It's all connected. Amanda has overwhelmingly Mormon energy. She is canonically religious and wants to save herself for marriage, but the show is actually pretty chill about it. Like, it doesn't try to be too preachy about abstinence or anything, unlike other shows.
I had sex and now Dad is dead.
It's just like presented as this very objective thing. Amanda is religious, not everybody in the show is. I was so relieved because this show does have a dash of Seventh Heaven energy. Throughout her and Kyle's relationship, she has several crash outs about Jessi, which I feel are completely valid. Kyle chooses not to tell Amanda anything about his past, what's going on, so Jessi is kind of just like always around and like super needy with Kyle, and Amanda has no idea why. Honestly, I would crash out too. And Amanda has reason to worry because Jessi is fiending for Kyle's attention. Hillary is Laurie's best friend. The show kind of presents her as like the village slut and kind of a ditz.
I'm Hillary and I'm in a bar fight. It's a no-win situation.
You could tell her. You don't even like her and you're the one he cheated with.
What's done is done. There's no need in making a bigger mess out of things than I already have.
She says that she wants to be a reality TV star, but the show will drop all these little hints that she's actually like a really prodigious chef. She's like super knowledgeable about culinary arts and she has like a well-regarded culinary blog.
Wise choice. It took me 3 or 4 tries before I even got into the French Provençal cuisine ballpark.
Glazed Cornish game hen,
Sweet potato souffle
with shaved Romano and pancetta.
I'm secretly a fan of Top Chef.
Where'd you get that?
Compliments of the caterer in exchange for a 5-star review of his bistro on my blog.
Hillary contains multitudes. Like, let's just get something straight here. Hillary is our bimbo queen. Astronauts in space could see that she eats the house down boots. Just look at her dress from that Prom episode. She's serving so hard, she's gonna have to tip out the bartender. Carol Bloom is Amanda's controlling mother, and she's a real piece of work.
This neighborhood isn't zoned for halfway houses.
Amanda has this bracelet that's really special to her because her dead father gave it to her. Amanda's home gets robbed and nothing is missing except this bracelet. Later, it's revealed that the bracelet wasn't stolen by the intruder. It was pawned off by her mom for some cash. Then in a later episode, the mom sells Amanda's piano for cash. Like, I know you're struggling for money, but this is your daughter's only hobby. You live in a super nice 2-story home. Like, have you ever considered living in like a cheaper apartment or something? Kyle finds a dilapidated piano in an alley and painstakingly restores it so that Amanda can play piano again. And then Carol bitch-ass Bloom has the gall to hate Kyle because she feels like he's a hindrance to her piano dreams. Get a grip, Carol. There's also this one episode where she goes to the Traeger's house. She's like super horned up for Steven.
All right, I'll walk you home.
Oh, you need to stay here with your wife.
And I'll never forgive her or Jessi for reading Hillary like they did in this episode.
I've seen you going in and out of the Traeger house. You're Laurie's trampy friend.
Oh, no, that's Hillary.
Declan is Laurie's boyfriend / friend and also Kyle's good friend. I have a really hard time saying Declan. I always want to say Declan. Neighbor to Penn Island. Anyway. Declan gets the biggest redemption arc since Spike from Buffy. The first few episodes, he is such a monumental tool. He's a serial cheater, he's slimy, Lori totally puts up with it and simps so hard. Then he becomes kind of like a confidant to Kyle, and he's always there to help the Tragers out, and he eventually is like really sweet to Lori. At first I was basically throwing tomatoes at the TV when he was on screen, but later on I became really attached to him as a character. Sarah is Jessi's mom / creator, DNA benefactor, played by the yin yang killer from Psych. She's emotionally unavailable and eager to be a lone wolf. Jessi desperately wants a relationship with her, but it doesn't really pan out. As in, she's kind of only in Jessi's life for a few days before she dies. I am probably going to come out of this video looking like a jerk for telling Jessi to get over her problems. Andy is Josh's friend turned girlfriend. She is the textbook definition of a manic pick-me dream girl. And yes, I said pick-me, not pixie. She's not like other girls. She plays video games. She jokes around. She's really mean for some reason.
Is this the moment that we're supposed to old school Hollywood it into each other's arms? Because I'm not running, especially not into your arms. Those things are like chicken legs.
Hell no.
She has cancer of an unspecified type, which has no symptoms, and you would not believe the absolute scream I scrum when they reveal her full name.
Andromeda.
Andromeda?
But then I felt really guilty for thinking those things because her character was really toned down in the 3rd season, and it just gave me this awful feeling. Like, I really hoped that Kye XY fans weren't like harassing her at the time for her character, because, you know, nobody deserves that. And even though her character kind of bugged me, people complaining about manic pixie dream girls sometimes use that as a thin veil for misogyny. It's not like I was personally on Reddit complaining about her character, but I did feel guilty that those thoughts even formed in my brain and risked entering into the atmosphere. Julian Ballantine is a Madacorp executive. Madacorp is one of the 3 evil companies in this show. I like to also call it Angry Corp. A little peeved off corp. Why I oughta corp. He's a bad guy that I think wants to acquire information from Kyle about Zzyxx, which is another evil company, and it's the one that created Kyle. So they want to hook Kyle up to this machine that like sucks all of his memories out, but it's implied that that would kill Kyle. In order to achieve this goal, he uses an employee of his, Emily. Emily pretends to be Jessi's mom when she's first born. Ballantine uses some technology to implant a bunch of false memories into Jessi so that she thinks that Emily is her mom. Jessi was also created by Zzyxx. Why they cannot just hook Jessi up to the machine and suck her memories out, I don't know. Mark enters the picture later in the 2nd season. He is a college student under the tutelage of Stephen Trager. He finished school and got into college younger than is typical, so he's only 18. Eventually he dates Lori Trager, who is 16. I felt like I needed to specify ages because he's in college and she's in high school, so your brain is like, what's going on? Not saying it's not weird, but yeah, just giving more information, I guess. Mark also works for Latnok, another evil company. He does not, however, know that the company is evil or really even know what he's doing for them, so he's redeemable, I guess. Oh, he's also a semi-famous DJ called like DJ Spin Cycle or Spin Dip or something. I also refer to him as Poindexter Skrillex. Latnok is a powerful secret organization of scientists and visionaries. They're kind of like the Illuminati of science. Members of Latnok funded and formed Zzyxx, the company that created Kyle and Jessi. The members of Latnok want to continue that scientific project. In fact, they want to create hundreds of clones just like Kyle, not Jessi, because she's broken. Which is really sad and kind of sexist, but also, I don't know, I get it. At first, I think Latnok is trying to achieve that goal by pulling the strings within Madacorp. But eventually, somehow, Madacorp, which they imply has the resources of like SpaceX, is just neutralized as a threat. I don't really remember why. So in the end, Latnok is just operating on their own, but they're still evil and trying to make clones. Oh my god, I found out when researching this that during season 1, when they were like trying to promote the show, they created an ARG for Madacorp where you could go onto the Madacorp website and there's like a puzzle to solve. I can pull up some of it using the Wayback Machine, but some of it is just lost to time. I cannot explain how much I love this. It plays a soundbite when the site first loads that explains why Madacorp is awesome and making the world better.
Technology, science, art. Only one company integrates all 3 for the betterment of mankind. the Madacorp.
And it drops these little hints to the cloning goal, like this header image and some of the things that it says in like this body of text. I don't really know how to segue into all the other stuff I love about this show, so I'm just gonna rattle them off one by one. Kye XY was sponsored by Sour Patch Kids for the first 2 seasons, so that resulted in a lot of these really cleverly placed and totally seamless product placement moments.
Okay, Kye, you got plenty of paper, markers, Sour Patch Kid.
Yo, hands off the stash. My Sour Patch Kids are sacred.
A pretty important location in the show is called The Rack. The Rack is a cafe that offers provisions such as internet, coffee, news, food, juice, internet, coffee, news, food. It's where the characters run into each other, hang out, and Josh and Amanda both work there eventually. When Kyle is first placed in the Trager's house, he can't really communicate yet, but he knows that he's thirsty, so he just regurgitates what one of the kids in juvie said.
Yo, let's get some juice down here. Everyone taking stupid pills around here? Juice me!
Please excuse me while the phrase juice me permanently enters my lexicon. In season 2, they just completely changed the exterior of the Trager's house without explanation, so that's pretty fun to notice. It's probably for the best because the original house kind of looks like a cardboard set piece for a high school play. The nature of Kyle's character gave this show tremendous potential for romantic fanfiction. I was able to find a few fanfics, but based on just like a cursory search, it doesn't seem like it had quite as big of a library as other shows from the time, like Smallville. While I was doing my watch through, there was like a few moments where I just thought, oh man, Wattpad would eat this shit up. There's an episode where Kyle is tucked into his tub one night, snug as a bug, kicking his little feet and listening with his super hearing to Amanda's heartbeat next door. Then he hears another heartbeat with her, an unfamiliar one, an intruder. So he runs over to save her. Close enough. Welcome back, Edward Cullen. Kyle plans a date for him and Amanda with all these Christmas lights. When Kyle and Amanda kiss, Kyle's electricity power makes the lights flicker. And Amanda's like, I didn't know these lights twinkle. And Kyle is like, only for you.
Didn't know the lights out here twinkle.
Only for you.
This is also the episode where Amanda keeps saying that her favorite part of Romeo and Juliet is the balcony scene. And like, girl, there's no balcony scene in Romeo and Juliet. Any true spearhead would know that. There's this other super fanficky storyline with like Simone Biles levels of plot gymnastics in order to make this work. Kyle is trying to save Amanda from an internal threat that she can't know about. I'm trying not to give you any unnecessary information. It doesn't matter. Anyway, he has to send a small amount of electricity into Amanda's body by kissing her on the lips. But he can't figure out which amount of electricity is safe, so he has to practice by kissing Jessi on the lips. Kyle, walk with me.
You can help Amanda without her knowing what you're doing. Pass the electricity through a kiss.
But I won't know how much power to give her, and if I'm wrong, I'll electrocute her.
Then you'll have to practice.
On what?
Me.
Actually, now that I think about it, a lot of the romantic storylines in this show read like fan fiction. They even use the classic "there's only one tub" trope.
How's the tub? Are you comfortable?
Strangely, I am. How's the floor?
It's too open. No sides.
I watched this on Disney Plus, and there's this glitch on one of the episodes that damn near scared the belly button clean off of me.
How much time do you think the guy that broke into your house will spend in prison?
Kyle, I don't care.
Early on in the mystery, there's this skeleton found in the woods that's like part of the puzzle. It's been bleached and like cleaned of DNA so that they can't identify it at first. But then the police also collect evidence by way of DNA under the fingernails.
Some flesh remained beneath the victim's fingernails, indicating a struggle.
But they said it was a skeleton. So like, I don't know, do the writers think that fingernails are part of our skeleton? What a horrifying thought. I mean, imagine you had to cut your teeth every few weeks when they got too long. I'm trying to understand what I meant when I wrote that. What do teeth have to do with it? Anyway, they identify the body as William Kern, biochemistry professor at University of Washington. The show gives us this shot of this newspaper explaining how the professor is missing. When I paused to read it, I realized that the article just repeats the same couple paragraphs over and over again. It repeatedly refers to him as William Kern, professor at University of Washington. Here we find a portrait of William Kern, University of Washington, biochemistry professor. They report about it later on the news too.
William Kern, a professor of biochemistry at the University of Washington.
It's giving Bob Vance refrigeration. In the episode that I like to call Kyle School Musical, Kyle becomes an overnight star for the basketball team. Turns out, he He knows ball. During the big game, Declan badly injures his ankle. The coach goes absolutely bonkers and tells Declan that he has to play on an injured ankle or he's off the team. Do they not have subs? Like, you can sub people in basketball, right? Yeah, they do. I mean, of course they do. What is this guy's damage? Anyway, Kyle starts this chain reaction where he's like, I'm Radio Rebel. And then everybody else on the team is like, I'm Radio Rebel.
I'm injured too.
Then you're off the team with Madonna.
My ankles hurt too. I'm hurt.
Me too. And my axe.
For one episode, what I wrote in my notes was Andy has Avril Lavigne girlfriend wig.
Hey, you. I don't like your girlfriend. Hey, you. I think you need a new one.
My boy gets Stuart Littled at the end of season 1.
There's so much we have to catch up on.
These two chumps waltz in like they own the place. They claim to be Kyle's real parents, but they ended up being hired by Adam Baylin to steal him away so that he could learn about his powers. Before Amanda dates Kyle, she's dating Finn from Glee.
My ankles hurt too.
His character kind of sucks in this though. He's a serial cheater, and I wrote in my notes that he's homophobic, although I don't remember why I thought that. Kyle knows Charlie sucks, but he doesn't know how to tell Amanda because he doesn't want to hurt her, so he just keeps putting it off. The way that she actually finds out is so diabolical. They have this class list that assigns people like best dressed, best couple, whatever. And when the list comes out, Charlie, Amanda's boyfriend, gets assigned biggest slut. And Amanda's like, what the hecky? Like, this isn't even accurate. But everybody in the cafeteria is like, oh, yeah. Ooh.
Charlie.
Amanda, it's a joke.
It's not a joke.
It's so mean. This show is so mean for this. Just absolutely devious. Kyle has this poster in his room that says cream of the crap. I don't know, I thought that was funny. I looked it up and I guess it's an album from a band called Helicopters. It's pretty good. It kind of has the vibes of the fake band from the new Superman movie, The Mighty Crabjoys. There's a storyline where Lori and Hillary are feeling regretful about sleeping with people that they don't feel like deserved their affections. So they decide they're going to revirginize themselves, which just means they decided that the sex never happened.
You look Amish. Part of my strategy to avoid the slut vote, I'm also gonna revirginize. Revirginization, think about it. If it's ours to give away, then it's ours to take back.
It's kind of unhinged, but it's pretty lighthearted, and you know, I think the idea of sexual purity is a construct anyway, so I'm cool with it. I really appreciate the moments of sincere female friendships in this show. They're not super frequent, and there's certainly plenty of that 2000s show thing where all the women and girls have to be in competition with each other, but there are some redeeming moments. I even think the show ekes out a passing Bechdel test in the end.
Let's fucking go.
There's an episode called Grounded that kind of has the energy of Uncut Gems. I don't know, this might have been Josh Safdie's muse. Amanda is supposed to get on a plane to go to her piano conservatory in New York City, but she skips her flight and hides in Kyle's room. All the Trager kids are grounded at home. Somebody calls CPS on the Tragers, so a social worker unexpectedly shows up to inspect the place and ask a bunch of questions. This makes everyone nervous since Kyle sleeps in a tub and is generally weird. Lori is hiding Seattle's entire supply of beer in her closet for a friend, so she's like, shit, I have to get this beer out of here before the social worker searches the room. They start trying to sneak the cases of beer out the upstairs window. Jessi shows up and adds to the chaos. Kyle tries to sneak Amanda out the front door and is just about to succeed when who should rear their ugly head but Carol Bloom. Carol's like, you little rat, you were hiding my daughter here like a fugitive. The social worker is like, okay, this seems like a personal matter. But before she leaves, she has to check out Kyle's room, which remember has a tub smack dab in the middle of it like it's a modern art exhibit. So they go to the room and surprise, the tub is gone. There's a normal bed there. And the social worker is like, seems legit, and leaves. Stephen Trager is like, how'd you guys get a normal bed in here? But it's actually just a bunch of beer cases covered in a duvet. Oh, and then also the social worker is actually working for the bad guys because nothing can just happen in this show. If it's bad, it's the work of the bad guys. If it's good, it's the work of the good guys. Like I said, it's got a dash of that seventh heaven moral polarity. Moral polarity. Why the moral polarity? We're gonna move on. Okay, but like, as the social worker is leaving, she turns to Nicole Trager and is like, you passed the CPS test, but you really have a problem with getting close to your clients, and that's creepy, and I'm gonna report it to the board of psychologists or whatever. I would be remiss not to report this. And that's just so out of pocket because this person was hired by the bad guys to like gather intel, so this isn't even her job. Like, she actually has no business saying this. She's just being mean for no reason. She just decides to go off script. Like, why'd you have to do that to my girl? Prom is kind of crazy. I was really looking forward to the prom episode because the promotional picture of Kyle at the prom is just like so perfectly and captures. So perfectly captures this era of TV. Amanda's on the planning committee, so they kind of spend a few episodes building up to prom night. The prep is stressful and things don't go super well. There's a pretty cute plot point where Amanda originally had a yellow prom dress, but the dry cleaners screwed it up, and so she has to replace it with a silver one. And Kyle's all freaking out because he got a corsage to match the yellow dress, and now he's not gonna match with Amanda.
You know what that means, don't you?
This dress is silver.
Dude, you already said that. It's not important.
But it's supposed to be yellow.
We're talking about me now, dude.
But here's the thing. When they all come out, all ready to go, look at what Andy is wearing. This bitch stole the yellow dress! The actual dance ends up perfect because of some last minute help from Kyle. Everything turns out good, they have a good time, blah, blah, blah.
I love you.
You do?
But then as soon as they leave the school to go to the after party, Amanda and Kyle are kidnapped by Latnok. Kyle is able to escape, and then he has to like find and save Amanda. And Latnok is like, well, 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 you passed our test. This was all a test to see if you were worthy. Now you're welcome to join us. And Kyle's like, no, I will not be doing that. You just kidnapped me and my girlfriend. I don't want to join your club. Amanda ends up not remembering any of it because she was sedated the whole time, and Kyle opts not to tell her what happened. He just says that she fell asleep at the after party and then he took her home. Crazy work. In the episode immediately following, Amanda finds out that Kyle lied and she never made it to the after party.
I can't remember anything about the end of the night. I really hope I didn't embarrass myself at the after party.
You weren't at the after party.
We were there, weren't we?
Amanda is rightfully pissed and wants some space from him, so she decides she's gonna have a girls' night with Hillary and Lori. Kyle goes to a fortune teller for some reason at the fair, and she tells him that night his soulmate will be in danger when the white rabbit swims. So Kyle's freaking out, and he's trying to watch over Amanda, who wants nothing to do with him right now. And she's becoming increasingly frustrated that Kyle can't leave her alone. So she rebels by going to a concert on a whim, and the concert is on a boat. And the boat is called the White Rabbit. Kyle makes it to the dock just in time to see it drifting away. Some electrical structure thing malfunctions and knocks someone off the boat. We think it's Amanda, but no, it's Jessi, which is awkward because the psychic said that Kyle's soulmate would be in danger. But then it's revealed that the psychic was actually paid by Latnok to say those things. But then it's implied that the psychic really is psychic. But then you start to think like, how did Latnok know that Amanda was going to want to go to this concert tonight on a whim? And why would Latnok care about a love triangle brewing between these people? If you rub two brain cells together when you're watching this episode, it doesn't make any sense. But it's fine. It's cool. We're here to have a good time. Sometimes it really felt like the writers wrote this show by way of Mad Libs, like not even they knew what was coming next. I love it. In season 3, episode 1, Hillary says my dog's name.
Nugget. That is generic hotel shampoo.
There's an episode that I like to call the one where Kyle gets drunk. Josh and Declan take Kyle out to a bar that doesn't card because he just got dumped by Amanda and they want him to let loose. Kyle does let loose. He's like, give me one margarita, I'ma open my legs.
Who the hell is...
You're like a magician or something.
Nope. I was born in a pod. I'm a science experiment.
Kyle, I've been trying to call you.
You've been trying to call me what?
He gets on the bar and he's like, I am Paul Muad'Dib Atreides, Duke of Arrakis. Sorry. No, but really, he's like,
I'm Kye XY.
That's the name of the movie. There's also this moment that for some reason made me laugh so much, and I keep thinking about it.
Whoa, you're bald.
Josh, you mind?
There's an episode in which Josh, Kyle, and Nicole are on a road trip and they roll the car and become stranded and they don't have any cell service. The only other person around is this woman in active labor. The woman in labor is like great value Juno.
I thought you guys were straight up toast, which would have been a downer. The upside is now I have someone who can push my car out of the road, so thanks to you, I'm no longer a highway hazard. Not counting the accident I just caused, of course.
She's really eccentric and sarcastic in a way that feels so out of place, and I cannot think of a single other explanation for why she's like that than the popularity of the movie Juno at the time. There's an episode where Jessi wants to meet with her mom, Sarah, who's really reclusive, but finally agrees because Kyle talks her into it. She says she's gonna visit the Trager's house in the afternoon, and so Jessi waits around like a sad puppy until eventually Sarah is so late that Jessi's like, she's not coming. Jessi runs away to this diner that like has some significance to her mom so that she can just kind of wallow in her ennui. Kyle shows up and he's like, no, you have friends. And she's like, no, I don't. I'm alone. Everyone abandons me.
No! That's your family! It won't ever be mine!
And then Sarah does show up at the diner and she's like, no, Jessi, you have me. I'm here. And Jessi's like, I don't care. It's too late. And she freaks out so much that she gets a nosebleed and collapses. No vitals. Which is so typical 2000s because we used to have all these songs about tonight being our last night and getting down on the floor. This was all the rage, girl. You're killing it. Kyle saves her life and then eventually he's like, in that moment, I felt like I could do anything and that scared me. Paul Atreides when he gains future sight for the first time. The last episode of Kyle XY is focused on Latnok's plan to produce hundreds of clones of Kyle to be kept in pods until... actually, we don't really know what comes after they're kept in pods, but it's not cool of Latnok to do that, you know, because you shouldn't create consciousnesses without their consent or whatever. It's rude. The main bad guy from Latnok is Cassidy, who is a wolf in charismatic mentor's clothing. In the end, Kyle goes all evil Spider-Man on him.
I'll hurt everybody that ever mattered to you, starting with Amanda.
Nicole had been right when she said she didn't recognize the person I'd become. The person I had been before would have never done this.
No more Mr. Nice Guy looking ass. But then Cassidy, while he's getting choked by angry Kyle, is like, you know my mom? She's also your mom. Kyle's a Harkonnen. Alright.
I'm happy to finally meet you, cousin.
This is Cassidy, by the way. I didn't mention him earlier because he's part of that last episode cliffhanger, and I felt like it would be good to keep that a secret. There is still a fandom around for this show, even if it's kind of small. There's been a lot of speculation about how it would have ended had the show gone on. I know the writers have kind of talked about what their intentions were. As with any fandom of a canceled show, there's been a lot of talks about it being rebooted or, you know, finished or whatever. As much as I do love this show, we gotta be realistic, guys. It's not very good. Okay, wait, no, I don't want the Kyle XY fandom hating on me because I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm one of you. I genuinely had that empty feeling when I ended this show where I was like, I want more. I want to keep living with these characters. But in my old age, like, I can't be strung along with these storylines that have no end. I can't. When a show introduces a mystery that they don't know the answer to, I feel like I can sniff it out from a mile away. I already forced myself to watch From for like 3 seasons, which took about 7 years off of my life. What I would love to see is this show getting rebooted and written a lot better. I think that'd be amazing. I'd love to see Matt Dallas come back. He's the guy who plays Kyle. I guess my biggest complaint about the show is that the whole point of Kyle being created is so that he can like use more percentage of his brain or like learn exponentially more information than everyone else. But throughout the show, Kyle kind of lacks social skills.
I didn't want milk in this.
Actually, sir, you did order milk.
Honey, hang on. What did you say?
You ordered a half-calf double espresso with skim milk. And then you asked somebody on the phone, honey, do you want anything? And I'm assuming they said no because you only ordered the one drink.
Sir, we'll fix your order right away, not a problem.
But I think that they should have continued this like gradual increase of his abilities socially too. Like it would have been cool to see him just become like Dr. Manhattan and he's so emotionally intelligent that he's like just too aware at the end. I don't know how that would go. Like you're telling me that this guy can use like all of his brain power, but he's not picking up on like sexual innuendos that people are saying.
Oh, just some time to help with breakfast. Maybe you can beat the batter.
Are we having pancakes?
Or perhaps you'd like to grill your sausage.
Okay, Josh.
I might vomit.
I'll ignore him.
Why?
Not even worth explaining.
Maybe he could end up being like a dangerous, charismatic cult leader that colonizes a culture of... Okay, wait, I'm talking about Dune again. So that's it, I guess. I did the thing. I think it healed something in me. I think it filled a hole somehow. Almost like a stomach without a belly button. Almost like if you have a belly button but then you don't have a belly button. Much like Kyle's stomach without a belly button, my life had a hole in it and now it no longer has a hole in it. If you could just comment and write a better outro for me, that'd be really great. Thank you. Anyway, you can check out stuff I designed at my website, meredithhoagie.com. I made this bumper sticker that says I lost my sparkle, my glimmer, my zest for life on linkedin.com. This one that says I love man-made horrors beyond my comprehension. Hey, I made this. More like, hey, I made this. Okay, see you later.